Check this out. You just can't beat this. This is just beautiful. Check it out. Oh, man. Just lay back. Wind and One of the interesting things about this song, it was covered by Thomas Wayne. He did it back in 1959. He had a big hit with it first. It went to number 5 for him. Brian Hyland came out with his version back in the late 60s, but his version was not as big as the Thomas Wayne. And the Fleetwood's version of Tragedy coming in at number 68 on WABC's Swinging Sound Survey the week of April 18, 1961, debuting at number 68. The Fleetwoods. The Fleetwoods from Olympia, Washington. 3 members, Gary Troxell, Gretchen Christopher, and Barbara Ellis. Come Softly to Me. First hit. One of the most laid-back groups that ever came out. Arguably even more laid-back than the Carpenters and Bread later on in the early 70s. Come Softly to Me was covered by Frankie Fawn and the Kay Sisters. That was a top 10 hit in the UK. It was covered by them. And Kay Sisters, to serve a quick mention, I don't know if anybody remembers the Kay Sisters. They were blonde. They had the same blonde hairstyle. They wore the same dresses, and they came out with these covers. Ivory Tower. They did a cover of Ivory Tower, which was a hit for Gail Storm and Kathy Carr over here in the States. And they also did a song called "Gotta Have Some Money in the Bank." Frank, that was another song that what's it called? The Kay Sisters they did back in the late 50s. But that's getting off the path. Let's go back to the Fleetwoods. Come Softly to Me, big hit by the Fleetwoods, and then Graduation's Here, another hit song by the another great Lost 45. Graduation's Here by the Fleetwoods, and then Mr. Blue. I'm Mr. Blue. And their success continued into the early 60s. Tragedy, 1961. Came out. It was I believe it was a top 10 for the Fleetwoods. It was a big record for the Fleetwoods, Tragedy. But the beginning of the end came around this time when Gary Troxell, he had to do active duty in the armed forces. You see, he signed up with the Navy Reserve in 1956, and he had to fulfill his duty obligations with the Navy in the early 60s. And then the British invasion, they were sidelined too by the British invasion. But they left a nice little slew of hits, the Fleetwoods did, and they're coming in at number 68 on WABC survey with Tragedy.